Hello and welcome to today's video as we go over all of the Pool 1 teams over the last 11 seasons or so that have not gotten to the quarterfinals. These are usually your 1 seeds in one of the regions that they consider to be a major region going into that event, or one of the top regions going into the event, usually non-play-in regions. And every year there's been 1 team. Now, because Gen G and G2 have gotten in, we are guaranteed once again to actually have a Pool 1 team not make it to quarters. In FlyQuest CFO, 1 team will lose and go home, and that will be the team that's added to this list. Since 2014, we've had many teams, and since 2018, only 1 team each year. But prior to that, we saw in 2017, 3 of, I believe, only 4 Pool 1 teams at the time did not even make it to quarterfinals, did not win their group, despite being separated because, hey, we can't have these teams against each other because it wouldn't be fair. Funnily enough. No Korean teams appear on this list. It's really, more often than not, an APAC team or a European team, followed by America. North America, but it's the American region. Now, I don't know what they're doing with that now that LTA South is becoming CB Lol again. Is it going to be still Americas, or what are we doing with the region deal? But regardless, this is how it is. So, thinking about it and looking back at the last couple days, this is a deal where, hey, comment down below with which team you were most surprised or most disappointed by at Worlds after they had a great year and were a Pool 1 team. Some of these are repeats. We see LGD on there, Cloud9, and a few others. Cloud9 wouldn't have appeared on here, but LGD, EDG are 2 teams that appear in the LPL video. But otherwise, though, really there are some teams on here that many people criticize. We look at 2020 TSM, a great example, right? They are the only team that went 0-6 at Worlds that are on this board. Many only won 1 game. We look at Cloud9 in 2022. Actually, only 1 other team did do that. There are some MSI teams on here. We saw an MSI result from 2019 Team Liquid. Great example, right? You could argue that was a disappointment. They went to MSI, went to finals, lost to G2, couldn't even get out of group stage. Certainly something to consider. You think of all those Flash Wolf teams. Flash Wolves had a dynasty at MSI, were always very competitive, but then went to Worlds and put up a dud, unfortunately. And we even see like PSG, the successor of Flash Wolves in 2021 not getting out of group stage after dominating. That's a 35-1 record, 97% regular season win rate, followed by an 80% win rate in playoffs, and totaling a 54% win rate internationally because they did so well at MSI. If I recall, 2021 Worlds was the year that PSG had to run Doggo at AD carry when Doggo was not even a player on their team. Like COVID had struck and left them really scrambling to try and build a roster to throw into the World's gauntlet, if you will. If we look all the way back to 2014, you see Alliance on there. They went 3-3 at Worlds. I mean, it's hard to also say, if they went 3-3, depending on the group, maybe that's fair. Like more so disappointed in maybe an LGD or an EDG, a Flash Wolves team, TSM. I mean, but that TSM team, right? They had the worst win rate on this board in the regular season. Only a 58% win rate. They just hit the patch in one summer and end up being the 1 seed. 57% win rate in the playoffs. That's also the second lowest outside of Alliance on this board. So them even getting to the 1 seed, we look at spring and summer combined. Spring notable because it is against better teams than the regular season schedule, of course. They didn't set themselves apart. So like a team that truly set themselves apart in their domestic region would make me say, I am kind of more disappointed by their performance at Worlds because, hell, we're looking at them and we expect them to dominate. These Flash Wolf teams, looking at 68-86, 81-86, 87-100, 97-80. dominance. The last 2 years of G2, thankfully they get in, but the last 2 years they've done great, nearly 80% win rates. Not only, well, hell, just let's go, 75% win rate in regular season and playoffs the last 2 years. But at Worlds went 50-50. Just barely missing quarterfinals both times. You look back, the last European team before that was G2 in 2017. Flash Wolves and G2 appear most on the board. They're the only doubles, I believe. Yeah, Flash Wolves 3 times, G2 3 times. Kind of interesting to think about as well. But yeah, I thought this would be the next kind of step in this as we're kind of working through Swiss stage right now. Tomorrow's the last day of Swiss stage, and then maybe I'll do a stats-based video or something. Probably. I'm thinking about it. I'm considering it. Based on Swiss and how players did. But as far as this, though, I thought it was interesting, you know. Kind of looking back at all these teams, there are, 2, 4, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14 teams on here. 14 at least rosters that all go in as Pool 1 teams, but then drop out. And it makes the argument for, hey, should North America or Europe have had Pool 1 teams for the majority of the time? I'd argue not so much. I mean, they did make deep runs. At one point, we look at 2019 as a great example for Europe. They won MSI and then had 3 teams go to the quarterfinal stage. But prior to that, 2011, they win Worlds, but really they weren't all that competitive, relatively speaking. I'm sure H2K gets to semis one time or whatever, but still, I wouldn't say that about North America and Cloud9 getting there and being like, they should be a Pool 1 team. I mean, historically, you'd argue maybe a Korean 2-seed or Chinese 2-seed should get that priority. Thinking about Worlds today, I've said it, I made a couple tweets about it. I really didn't like how it ended up, that we were going to end up with FlyQuest and CFO and Koi possibly playing against each other and making it so a BLG, a Top Esports, or a T1 weren't going to quarters, because, in my opinion, those are the better teams. Now, you can make a case CFO performed like they deserved to be there over a T1. They beat them, and I think that's a fair argument. That's fair. So if Koi ended up against Fly or CFO, that's a thing. But at the same time, I just think one game is such a small sample to try and base things off of. It's better than no sample. Excuse me. It's more valid than no sample, but still, I like larger samples than one game. CFO or Fly are going to go. If Fly go, I'm 7 for 8 in my predictions. KT being the team I got wrong, and BLG or Top Esports being the team that's out in place of KT. So I'll take 7 out of 8. 7 out of 8 is pretty good. But regardless, comment down below with which one of these teams you believe were the most disappointing to you at Worlds after their great seasons prior to. And thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.